Well, hello. Hi. Well, Pumpkin is wanting to help show you around. So we are going to show you some of the cabinets here in the kitchen.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Melinda, plain and simple. Today I am going to be continuing with my What's Working For Me series by taking you into my kitchen and showing you my cabinets. I'm also going to explain a little bit about what's working and why it's working. And I am going to try to find some before pictures as well because I think that has a lot more impact, especially for people who are early on in the journey. Because sometimes when you see a cabinet or an area that is already decluttered and you didn't see where it came from, then you don't really have that connection as being something that you can do as well. So I want to share with you what mine looked like before. And I used to be really embarrassed about it. I didn't even take pictures of everything because I didn't want the evidence. I didn't want anybody ever to see, and I didn't want to remember. So I don't always have pictures of all my stuff before I really started decluttering, but I do have some pictures, and I'm pretty sure I have some of my kitchen cabinets. I might not have them in their worst state, but I do have some pictures of my kitchen cabinets somewhere. So I will hunt those out and I will include those in this video because the purpose of doing this is not to brag and say, hey, look at my cabinets. The purpose of doing this is to say, hey, if this is what you want, you can do it too. So just always remember that. And if you've got questions or if you have something you want to share about your journey, be sure you leave a comment below because I would love to hear from you, and other people read those comments and they can be inspired and motivated by your comments, and they also can say things that will inspire and motivate you. So if you've got something that you want to declutter around your house, grab your stuff and we can do this together, because I will. If I find something that I need to declutter in those cabinets today, I'll do it. And if I need to move something around, I'll do it. Because even though they're working for me, if I can make them work better, I will. So you can do that, declutter along with me. Or if you'd rather just watch and get ideas, that's fine too. But for now, let's head on into my kitchen and see what's going on with my cabinets. And be sure you let me know what's going on with your cabinets as well and what's working around your house since you've been decluttering. Because that's what it's all about, the benefits that we are finding around our homes since we've been decluttering.
And this is why if you have cats, you're always cleaning your counter and your stove and everything else because they know no boundaries. Yeah, I tried. It didn't work. So, he goes anywhere he wants to go. Anyway, now we're going to look at the cabinets in my kitchen, the ones that I've decluttered and that are working for me. I do have a couple of cabinets that I have not decluttered. I have not decluttered that one. Well, I have decluttered it, but it needs it again. It's still not working for me. And this one over here is still not working for me. This one, I need to figure out a way to make it work better for me. But the rest of them, I think they're working. So I'm going to show you the rest of the cabinets in my kitchen. I guess we'll just start up here with this one. This is, as you can see, it's near the stove. And a lot of times when we prepare our food, we do it right here. And so this is very convenient for us. This is where I keep our dishes, our plates and bowls and stuff like that. I have 4 plates. There's 2 of us, and so we each have 2 place settings. No, we're not getting up in the cabinet. Sorry. No. Counter's one thing, not the cabinet. And then the bowls. So all of that, we have 4 place settings. And then we have this larger bowl here. No, we don't want cat in the dishes. Sorry. We have this larger bowl here. That is what my husband uses for his soup. He's like, I want to put my tail in the dishes. Mommy don't want you to put your tail in the dishes. See, you're all blurry now. We're all out of focus, and it's your fault. Come here. Here. I know. Sit right there for me. Sit right there for Mommy. Let's focus on you for just a second and see if we can get this back in focus. There it goes. Yeah, he just needed the attention all to himself. Anyway, so we have the large bowl here is what he uses, my husband uses for his soup. And then I like to use this large mug. And then I also have my mug that I use for drinking, you know, stuff out of, whatever. And then I've also started using this little jelly jar, and I actually use that more often now. So I may move my mug out of the way. And then I have a couple of extra glasses up there if we want them. And then I actually have two of these. The other one is in the sink. It's dirty, but they sit right up there. And then that top shelf, that's just my mugs that I don't use. And they're actually sitting, I don't know if I can reach high enough if you can hear me. They're actually sitting on top of a larger dinner size plate. So if I needed that, I could pull that down very easily. But I don't need it, and so I just keep it up there. And I keep it face down so it doesn't get dirty because I don't use it. And then I can just rinse it off if I needed it or wash it, whatever. But this works for us. Everything's really handy, and I don't have too much, and so I keep the dishes done. And that is a big plus for me, keeping the dishes done. And if they all got dirty, it wouldn't take long to get them cleaned back up. So that is why that one works for me, and that's just one of my little happies back there. I don't use it for anything, but I could. I think it's a spoon rest. I don't know. I thought I had decluttered that mug, but it was actually up in one of these other cabinets over here. So I swapped that one out for my math mug. The math mug is a little bit bigger and bulkier than I like to have for a mug, and I was only using it because I broke my other favorite mug. So now I'm going to swap it out for this one. And just in case you're wondering, hubby doesn't have a mug in the cabinet with the dishes because he likes to keep his over here by the microwave. And this cabinet, my little measuring spoons and stuff like that, I have those in baskets. That makes it easier to keep things corralled, but also if I do need to pull things out of there to see what I'm looking for, it's easy to do it, and it goes right back up in there. And I don't actually use that dish, but if I needed to, I could pull it out. Meanwhile, it is a little happy. Same thing there. I have that Christmas plate, and if I need to pull that out to use for, like, say, Christmas cookies or something, I could do that. I also have my pot holders and measuring, the liquid measuring cup, a spoon rest, and a little chopping board. And then in the top shelf, it's just a little cute little mug, and I think that's an oven mitt up there. But that's also stuff that I don't normally need to use. And then this cabinet, this one is, again, you can see here, close to the stove. I'm trying to hurry because hubby, sometimes he gets off at 3. So he may be here soon. And then, let's see. So this is where I keep my pots and pans. And I know this is a little bit untraditional, but one of the reasons I wanted to show you things and explain why it works for me is not so that you would do it exactly the same way I do it, but so you would maybe think outside the box. Because I always kept my pots and pans down in the lower cabinets or under the stove in that drawer like my mom did. And then I finally realized that majority of the time I use this little skillet and this pot. And then there's the lid for that pot right there. And then if I bake anything, it's usually in this pan. So I just put one of those little shelf things there and put the pots and pans and stuff that I use most often right here. And the rest of them are up here. Because occasionally, especially at the holidays, I want to use a different size kettle or skillet. And then as you can see, I have a longer oblong plate that I can also pull out and use if I need to. But I know where it's at, but if I need it, it's there. But it's not taking up space with the rest of my dishes. And so that works out really nice for me. Now that might not work for you, but rather than having them down where I have to bend over to grab everything, I just put them up here. After I did so much decluttering, I found that this was just more convenient for me. So that's why I have them here. And having just the ones that I use most often is really convenient. And I don't like having to move things to get what I need. I'm more likely to do what I need to do. I'm more likely to clean. I'm more likely to cook. I'm more likely to do everything that I do if I don't have to move something out of the way. And so that way, most of the time, those are the ones I use. And I don't have too much here that I would have to move out of the way to get another one. So it's fine. I don't use those that often. And then this cabinet up here, I have put more things into this cabinet since the last time you saw my cabinets. And the reason is I found some of those glass with a lock lid storage containers that you guys told me about. And so I put some of the plastic things in jars up here because that way I can kind of have them quarantined, but if we do need them, they're up there and they're handy enough that I can just get a step stool and get them out of there. And so then this thing, I don't know if you can see it, this is what they call a kitchen garage. It's kind of in the corner, and that's where I keep my cooking utensils, the longer cooking utensils, because I found that if I have to fish around for them in a drawer, I'm also less likely to cook. But if they're in this little thing here, I'll grab them out. But also, if they were on the counter where I could see them, I wouldn't like that. But they're behind this door, so that works out well for me. And then I have my paper towels. I used to have a nice paper towel holder, but I realized that it was frustrating trying to get the paper towels off of it because they would always get stuck, and that was annoying, so I finally just decluttered it. Then I have a little happy back there, and I have this little dish tray thing that I use, a little dish drainer, that I use most often. Now I use this one on a daily basis because I don't really have a whole lot of dishes or big dishes. But when I cook a lot or have big pans, I'll show you I have another dish drainer. And I could do just one, but if I just have the big one, I'm less likely to do my dishes for some reason. If I just have this one, I'll do my dishes. And then when I need the other one, I pull it out. And this one, though, isn't big enough when I have a lot of dishes. So that's the reason I have two. So hang on and I'll show you some more. Okay, I think I'll just go ahead and show you under the sink right now. Okay, so you can see here, I can show you back here, hang on. You can see there's that bigger dish drain, and so it stays down here. If I need it, I can pull it out. And then I have a little tray there that I keep like a toothbrush, a flashlight, because, oh, and that stuff back there in the back, that's because we had something leaking back there a couple of years ago. It hasn't leaked since, and we didn't really fix anything, but it quit leaking. So I just leave it back there because I'm scared if I move it out, it'll start leaking again. So that's why it stays. And but it's not leaking now, so it's fine. And then I have some paper towels, and I have my basic items that I grab out, the dishwashing liquid, a little bit of spray stuff for cleaner, and some stuff to clean the sink with. And that's all I keep under my sink. So it stays very tidy. The only thing that gets a little out of sort sometimes is that right there. And what I do is if I have a paper towel and I just use it, say I wash the cat dish and just plop it onto a paper towel to dry or something like that, or if I just dry my hands with a paper towel, I don't pitch it right away. I'll put it in here because I can give that thing a second use. So I use these kind of for cleaning up things around the house. And now we are on the other side of the kitchen, and this cabinet has my Corningware in it. Now I've had this stuff since the 80s. I don't actually use it a whole lot. Sometimes I'll use it at the holidays, but we're not huge cooks around here, so I don't put it to use a whole lot. And I actually had more, but I gave it to my niece because I didn't really need to keep that much. If I wasn't going to use this, I'm not going to use it all, right? So I gave her some. She wanted some for her house. And then I have a mixing bowl up there in the top. I can use that if I have like a larger dish. Say if I made a bunch of mashed potatoes to take to my sisters or something, I would have a dish to do that in. And you've seen this cabinet, but this one has changed a little bit because I don't know if I had the mason jars when you saw it last time, but I have some mason jars that I use for leftovers. And I think I put 3 back here maybe. The rest of them are over in that upper cabinet because right now I'm thinking I only need to use 3, if that. And then I have some smaller ones, and I use these a lot more often. I use these all the time now for my leftovers. I kept these 2 down here because I found that some things don't fit into this one, and they would be hard to get out of that one, and I don't need that big of a one. For instance, a baked potato. The other day I had a baked potato, and so I had this one up in the quarantine thing, and I pulled it back down because I thought, yep, I need a different container than what I had down here. And then these 2 are the glass ones with the lock lids that y'all recommended that I get, and I finally found some at my local store. I went to Walmart. The first time I went looking, I couldn't find anything, but we went to a different Walmart one day and I looked, and that's what they had, so that's what I got, and they're working out fine. I've used them. I actually have used both of them at the same time, so usually it's just one, but sometimes actually I'll need 2, so I'm glad I got 2. And then this cabinet has both of my colanders. I have a large and a small. Most of the time I use the small one, but occasionally I do use the large one. And then I have this large bowl here, and I use that as a mixing bowl or for when I have my cooked cabbage or when we do spaghetti, because that stuff can stain and it is plastic. Eventually I do hope to get maybe a glass type bowl, but right now that's what I have. And then up there you can see the other 2 bowls that go with that set, and then I have a large bowl and that large plastic thing. And I'm thinking I might move that large plastic thing out of here. I don't really think I need it. And you have seen this cabinet before. I did a little decluttering down here a while back when I let go of some of my plastic storage containers. And I don't think it's changed much, if at all. I still have my little collection of cookbooks and things. I've already decluttered most of those because I don't do a lot of cooking, so I didn't see any need to keep hanging on to them. So I passed some on to my sister, and the rest of them I just gifted them away. And then I have this large plastic, it's a Tupperware container. The lid broke on it many years ago, and it only has an apron in it. But I like the size of it. I could use that for anything. I could use that for a trash can or anything. But so I just leave it under here because I like it. And then these containers, I only kept those in case I needed to have a plastic container or something that I can use and then toss away. For instance, when I paint, sometimes I'll grab a little container. So that way I have a few little containers handy. They're just plastic storage containers that have already served their purpose, let's say. They could go into the recycle bin, but I just hung on to a few just for that particular purpose. And then we have a toaster. And then I have 2 crock pots. I have a small one and a larger one. But as you can see, the reason that this works for me is I don't have a lot of stuff down here, but everything I do have, I can grab it easily. Oh, and this little container here, that has the rest of my flatware set, my silverware. It's all in this right here. So if we did lose one of the forks or knives or spoons, I could always grab it out of here. Yeah, so I didn't let go of them. I could, but they don't really take up that much space, so I'm fine with keeping them. But going back to here, you can see I can grab any of this stuff out very easily, and that's why it works for me. I used to have this thing full of well, at one point I had a lot of cookware and stuff like that down here, and then I've had where I've just had random stuff down here. I've had cleaning supplies down here, but it never worked for me. It was always too full and not very user-friendly for me. Now that I have it like this, it's very user-friendly for me. Most often the thing that we use is the toaster. But if I want to make something using my crock pot, this is where they're at. I don't keep them out on my counter. I don't like to keep things out on my counter. But this is a nice shelf, a nice place for me to keep them, and they're out of the way for me. So that's why this cabinet works for me. It's a place that keeps the things that I need to keep, but it keeps them out of the way. But it's also big enough that I can put stuff in there and not have to put other things in front of it because I don't have a lot of things. I've decluttered most of my items. I decluttered my Instant Pot. I decluttered all the other little gadgets and tools and stuff like that that I had, little cook things. I never used them. So this is what I kept because this is what I will use. And over my refrigerator, I have this cabinet, and I have shown this cabinet before. I did a video with this one, and this just has our things like paper plates, some cups, and some straws, and some utensils. In case we did have more than a couple of people here, we rarely ever have company, and when we do, it's not very many. It's usually just like one person, and we haven't had any company for a while. But if we needed more than 4 plates, this is where we would come to. So we would just use the throwaway kind for that. So that works out for me. I actually hardly ever grab anything out of there either. This cabinet is up over the microwave. I'm stepping up on the step ladder so we can see in here. As you can see, there's not much on this shelf. This is my little happy here and the little microwave cover thing so things don't splatter all over. And this shelf I have, so you can see it all. This shelf has medicines. These are things like just as needed. Things like ibuprofen or aspirin, acetaminophen, whatever's in there. And then this one has my stuff that I use daily. And I just have some vitamins in there. There's not much in there, but I keep them separate because that way I'll actually remember to use them and I don't have to hunt around for the ones that I use daily in the mix of the ones that we don't use that often. And I found that that really works well for me. When I had them mixed together, I was always forgetting to take my my stuff. And this top shelf just has some of those thermal type bags, and I used to carry these when I was working. That one specifically I used to carry, but I had more, and I've already decluttered those. I decided that today I'm gonna go ahead and let go of this one as well. I still have that one, and I like that pink print there. And we also have these, but they're a little bit different style, and they fold up fairly flat, and then this is a different type thing too. So for now, I'm going to leave these in here, but letting go of one more of my thermal bags. And last but not least is my cabinet with all the pretty stuff in it. When we first moved in here, I put dishes and stuff up in there, and I didn't like how it looked. And then I tried doing pots and pans, and I didn't like how it looked. And then when I started decluttering, I started putting things up there that I liked to look at, that would be pretty with the colors in my kitchen, and that were kind of special to me. For instance, this pot here, that had belonged to my mom and dad, and they used to joke all the time that that was the pot that they were going to use as Daddy's urn. So when my dad passed away, my mom kept it for a while, but then eventually it became mine. And yeah, so you can see I have several cute little things up in there. I got some little kitty cat mugs, and got some pretty dishes and some things like that. But these were all things that I still liked, but I didn't want to have them out where they would get dusty and I would have to like maintain them. And I also didn't like how traditionally, like the dishes and stuff looked up there. So I just made it work for me. I put stuff up there that I like to look at. I don't have to dust it, but I get to enjoy it. So it's basically like, sort of like a curio cabinet, I suppose. This is what I took out of my cabinets today. This one I am going to regift. And these two, I'm going to put those in the utility closet. I have more of these and they stack inside of each other. And I use those occasionally for things. So I'm just going to put that one in there. I don't need it in here. And I'm going to leave this bowl in it for now, but I may declutter that at some point. I haven't used it, but it is handy if we need a really big bowl. So I'm going to hang on to it for just a little bit longer, but if I don't use that in the next, I don't know, if I don't use that by the first of the year, I think I'm just going to go ahead and let it go. Well, I thought I was done in here. I was editing the video and I noticed something. I think it would make more sense if I switched the contents of these two cabinets. And so that's what I did. I moved the Corningware that was in this cabinet up into the top of that cabinet because I only use that stuff once a year. When I put it in this cabinet, I thought I would use it more often, but as it turns out, I haven't used it since the holidays. And so it doesn't make sense for me to let it take up this whole cabinet. And this is a cabinet that I can easily access, but the stuff that I've been using most often, I've had it over here, and I have to reach far back to get that stuff. So it just makes more sense to put the things I'm not using very often in the higher up cabinet and put the stuff that I'm using most often in the cabinet that I can reach in easily. And then I also moved these things that I also use often. They were up here, so I moved those down so I can reach these more easily now, because I could reach them, but I had to tiptoe to get them, and now I can just reach back here and I can grab the handles and I can reach those easily. So that makes a lot more sense to me, and I think even though these were working for me before, I think these cabinets are going to work even better for me now. So anytime you got something and it's working for you, don't be afraid to go ahead and make a change if you find a way that will work even better. My cabinets are working, but I'm tweaking them again. I'm putting all of this stuff where that other stuff had been. I'm shifting things around, moving this way and then that, finding what's the bestest fit and where I'll put them at. I only meant to put away the dishes where they go, but then I saw a way to give my cabinets better flow. I'm doing all that I must do to make my cabinets work better than they do right now, be better than they were. So if I find I do not need a thing or two I find, I'll gift away that thing or two, and I won't even mind. Next time we'll go somewhere else in my house. I don't know where yet. You know, I'm not a planner, but we'll go somewhere else in my house that is working for me as a result of my decluttering. But for now, that is the end of my kitchen tour. Be sure you let me know in the comments below what's working for you in your kitchen, and if you have any suggestions that you might want to share with people, how things are working for you and why. Or if you've got questions or little problem areas and you would like some suggestions from other people, maybe put that in the comments and maybe I can help you out, or maybe somebody else who reads the comments will have a suggestion or solution for you. So for now, I'm going to say thank you once again for joining me, and for every episode and every week that you join me for every video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for all of that. I appreciate it so much. It helps my channel out, but most importantly, it helps me know that I'm helping you, and that's the only reason I'm doing this, is because I want to be able to help you guys as I have been helped by other people who have done this on YouTube. So when y'all let me know that it's working for you and that I'm helping you, that means so much to me, you don't even know. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye, and until next time, happy decluttering.
What you doing, Pumpkin? Yeah? Are you going to declutter some stuff? Yeah.